save as best we can.
Like what?
Well, like eating at home more instead of at restaurants.
Yeah, or borrowing movies from the library instead of going out to the movies.
That's right. And we can't afford to buy very many things like we used to.
Is it because Elmo has too many toys?
Oh, no, baby. None of this is your fault.
No, it's nobody's fault. This is just something that, well, this happens with families sometimes.
Yeah, and a lot of families are going through the same type of thing.
My husband was one of several hundred people who were laid off.
We can't go to the store a lot and buy stuff that's really expensive, so we have to buy stuff that's cheap.
They talked to us about a want versus a need. You want new clothes, but you need food for your lunches.
Yes, times are economically difficult, but the cars still work. There's food in the refrigerator. There's song in my heart. There's song in the world. Enjoy life. And by enjoying life, you show your kids that there's more to life than just money.
The next finalist is also from Sesame Workshop and is called When Families Grieve. This storyline, hosted by Katie Couric and Elmo, help children who've lost a parent to understand the grieving process and lend support to the parents left behind. Let's take a look.
Everybody ready? Most important thing Elmo missed the most about Uncle Jack, it was when we got to play baseball together. It was really fun. He always made Elmo laugh.
Just because someone dies and doesn't necessarily mean that those memories have to go with them.
He taught Elmo how to swing a bat in a really fun way. Elmo misses Uncle Jack's laugh.
So, Elmo, it took a while for you to realize that your Uncle Jack wasn't going to be around anymore.
Yeah. Elmo didn't really understand at first, Miss Katie.
Well, many times when someone dies, we have to talk about it a lot so we can actually accept it.
Yeah, Elmo couldn't believe it.
A lot of people, I think, Elmo, feel that way. Even grown-ups use words like, it doesn't seem real, or it seems like a dream.
They do?
Yeah, you know, after my husband died, sometimes I would wake up and suddenly remember what had happened, and I couldn't believe it either. It's so hard to get used to the idea that someone you love just isn't going to be there.
Yeah.
And sometimes for parents who are already dealing with their own sadness, it's hard to know how to talk to their children about death.
Really, Miss Katie?
Really. Remember the families we just heard from? I think telling the children that one of their parents had died must have been one of the hardest things they ever had to do.
I didn't have the heart to really tell them that their dad was not going to come home. They knew that everybody was crying, but they didn't know why.
I just had them come into the room, and I told them that Daddy had passed away.
I was very sad and mad because I knew he wasn't going to be here anymore, and I just didn't know what to do.
There was a trauma person who told me that my children couldn't handle the fact that it was a suicide and that I ought to tell them that it was an accident. Everything in my gut was telling me that that was the wrong way to go, but in that crisis moment, like, I was trying to just take advice from people around me.
The day before she passed away, I took him on a bike ride to a local park, and I just sat him down. I said, listen, I think Mommy's gonna die. They asked me when. I said, I don't know, soon. They just ran and went to play on the swings, and they were angry.
So, the second place winner is When Families Grieve. The first place winner is Families Stand Together. Here to accept these awards is Miranda Berry, Executive Vice President of Creative with Sesame Workshop. Miranda?
Well, this is an incredible honor for Sesame Workshop and for me personally to be with one of my great heroes, Norman Lear. Thank you so much for your work throughout your career and also for supporting this kind of work. It's really important because what helps us to be able to do shows like this is the support of organizations like the Norman Lear Foundation, so thank you. I just want quickly to thank the extraordinary Krissy Ferraro, who wrote both of the specials that you just saw. I know we have a room full of writers here. I'm a member of the Guild myself. And Krissy has that incredible gift of being able to combine comedy with heart. And that's what enables us to speak to families and to speak to parents and young children. And thank you so much for this honor. Thank you.
Our next category is telenovela. Telenovelas, as you know, are popular dramas from Latin America which air all over the world. There were 2 impressive finalists in this category, both with storylines that addressed the importance of taking folic acid before and during pregnancy to prevent neural tube defects. I'll start with finalist number 1, from the Caracol TV series El Cartel Dos, with a storyline called Larissa's Baby. Let's take a look.
Gracias. Larisa, ¿cómo me le va?
Doctora, muy bien. ¿Y usted cómo está?
Bien, gracias.
Cuénteme los resultados. ¿Ya salieron? ¿Cuándo nace Dieguito?
Pues yo le calculo unos 2 o 3 días máximo.
¿De verdad? ¿Ya?
Sí. Pero yo también quería comentarle una cosita.
Sí, cuénteme.
Bueno, es que estuve revisando los resultados de sus exámenes de sangre y...
¿Pasa algo, doctora?
Pues...
¿Todo está bien? ¿El bebé está bien?
Bueno, es que hay una posibilidad que el niño nazca con espina bífida.
¿Qué? ¿Espina? ¿Ese es el tumorcito que le sale atrás en la espaldita?
Así es.
Ay, doctora, no me diga eso, por Dios.
Pero tranquila, que aún no es seguro, Larisa. Yo le quería preguntar, ¿usted tomó ácido fólico durante el embarazo?
No, yo no me lo tomé. ¿Para qué le digo mentiras? El doctor me insistió demasiado y yo no me lo tomé.
Our second finalist for the telenovela category is from Telemundo, Pero Amor, and it's called To Give You Folic Acid is to Love You. Let's take a look.
Joaquín, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí?
Necesito hablar contigo, pero como ahora sales tan temprano y llegas tan tarde, no te he podido encontrar.
Así. Mira, qué curioso, ¿no? Es que no sé si te conté que estoy esperando un bebé y el padre de mi hijo no quiso saber nada de nosotros, así que fíjate, me tocó ponerme a trabajar.
Yo sé que me equivoqué, pero necesito hablar contigo y entregarte algo. Por favor, no me niegues esa posibilidad.
Siéntate.
Mira, es ácido fólico. Es un complemento que deben de tomar todas las mujeres embarazadas para que el bebé nazca bien. Aparentemente previene todas las enfermedades congénitas y esas cosas. Estuve investigando y seguramente la doctora te lo va a mandar a tomar ya mismo.
Tú, Joaquín, tú estuviste investigando cosas de mi bebé.
Claro, Beatriz, aunque no lo creas, a mí me importa mucho tú, el bebé y todo lo que está pasando.
Now I'd like to recognize the second place prize winner. Please give a round of applause to Pero Amor. To Give You Folic Acid is to Love You. Here to accept the award is Michelle Alban, Vice President of Corporate Communications and Public Affairs at Telemundo. Michelle. No, come talk.
I don't have Elmo. I don't want to follow Elmo, but in behalf of Telemundo Communications Group and Roberto Stopelo and Juana Uribe, who worked very hard on the storyline, I want to thank you for an accepting this. I would like to thank you. I'm sorry, I'm East Coast, so you have to forgive me for a little bit. We have been producing original content for Spanish language for 7 years now, and for 7 years, Hollywood Health and Society has been there to help us, and we're proud to say that we are the second largest producer of Spanish language content in the world, and we're in over 104 countries and in 35 languages. So we couldn't do it without your help. Thank you.
Now I'm pleased to honor Caracol TV El Cartel Dos, Larissa's Baby, as the first place winner in our telenovela category. And as Caracol was unable to join us tonight, we'll be happy to accept the award on their behalf. So. Marty.
We have a category called Global Health Storyline. We have only one show that made it to be a finalist in that category this year. It's an episode of Law and Order SVU called Witness. And in this segment, there's a woman who's been a victim of extreme sexual violence in Congo and now finds herself in the middle of an American investigation of rape. Let's watch the clip.
Isn't it a fact that you are in this country illegally?
Objection. Relevance.
It goes to her character. She lied to get into the country. Maybe she's lying about this.
I'll allow it.
Miss Eula, isn't it a fact that last week you were in a detention center?
Yes.
And aren't you only testifying here today in exchange for Miss Cabot getting you out?
No.
Isn't it true that you were to be deported because of close ties to a terrorist organization?
That is a lie.
Aren't you married to a known terrorist?
It was a forced marriage.
And you claimed he raped you.
He and all his friends.
And now you see rape everywhere. No further questions.
Ms. Eula, why did you come into this country? To escape the epidemic of sexual violence taking place in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The men who raped me were fighting for control of the mines that produce tin, tungsten, and tantalum. The conflict minerals you so desperately need to make your cell phones and computers.
Objection. What does this have to do with this trial?
He called her character into question and insinuated she was a member of a terrorist organization. He opened this door. Overruled.
Ms. Eula, do you see rape everywhere? The women in my village were raped. The women in the militia camp were raped. I was raped repeatedly by so many men I lost count. They put their guns in my sex, and one of them pulled the trigger. I was in the hospital for over a year. It left me incontinent. So yes, I have seen rape everywhere. That is how I know that girl was raped. Thank you. Nothing further?
Whoa. So, to accept the first place award, we have Dawn DeNoon, co-executive producer, and Christine Torres, staff writer, Law and Order SVU. Dawn and Christine, congratulations. Congratulations. You can take a picture?